All right, so get something to write with. Here we go. The table right here, there's a lot of memorizing that you have to do. You need to know monomial, binomial, trinomial. You need to know quartic, quintic, all those words, okay? So let's start right here. Number 1, standard form is descending order of exponents. So let's start by reorganizing our information. We have -6 x to the 5th plus 2x cubed plus 3x. Okay? And our leading coefficient is going to be the number that's leading this. Yes, -6. Okay? The degree of the polynomial is going to be the exponent that you see there, the biggest exponent, which is 5. And then by its degree, it's raised to the 5th power. It is a quintic or quintic, whatever you want to say. And then finally, how many terms does it have? It has 3 terms. And so we say that it is a trinomial. Like Triceratops, yes, which has 3 horns. Or a tricycle, which has 3 wheels. Triangle. Tripod. Dang, I'm good. Okay, here we go. Triplets, yes, nice, look at you. All right, so now let's go ahead and FOIL this out. Number 2 is a FOIL problem. Do you see? There's nothing in the middle. A lot of people FOILed this on the quiz. There was a plus in the middle, and people FOILed it.
What do you do if it's a plus? Well, you add it.
You add like terms.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's what you
Yeah. Yeah, so this one's actual FOIL, though. They're right next to each other. It means multiply. So here we go. First, 2x squared times 2x is 4x cubed. Outside gives us 10x squared. Inside gives us, oh, look at that, 10x squared. And then the last term gives me 25x. Okay, so to write this in standard form, I want to combine any like terms. So this is 4x cubed plus 20x squared plus 25x. Okay? So make sure you combine your like terms. Now, looking at it, it's in standard form. What is the leading coefficient? 4. Good. What is the degree of this polynomial? Degree 3. It's a cubic because you cube something when it's raised to the 3rd power. And this one is the same as the last one. It has 3 terms, so it's a trinomial. Okay, so be prepared for a chart just like that, and you'll be good. All right, let's look at 3, 4, and 5 all go together, and they go with this polynomial right here. The first thing we need to do is completely factor this guy. So don't forget, when you factor, you need to factor out a GCF. And you're getting really good at factoring, aren't you? Okay. All right, go ahead and factor an x out first, and you're left with x squared minus 3x minus 10. Now, we can keep going. Okay, this is good old star method here. Put a -10 up top with a -3 on the bottom, and then ask yourself, what times what's -10 adds up to -3? You're right, guys. -5 and 2.
Multiple selves?
Yeah. How many? I have lots of selves inside, yeah. It's a little scary in there. Okay. So then we get x minus 5 and x plus 2. That is the answer for question number 3. Completely factor into, it's not really a question, but it tells us to completely factor, and we did. Okay? Now, before I get to number 4, I want to talk real quick about number 5. Number 5 is going to ask me to find the relative maximum minimum points and the zeros. I want to find the zeros right away because when I go to graph, I want to make sure I get the zeros right on my graph. Some of you guys didn't. You graphed the polynomial and you didn't make sure they went through the right zeros. What are the zeros of this polynomial? 0, 5, -2. Those come from the factors 0, 5, -2. Our zeros are also the x-intercepts. So you want to go over here and plot 0, 5, and -2. Those are going to be the points that my graph's going to go through for sure. So let's go ahead and graph this guy. We're going to go to our calculator. Hopefully your calculators are in working condition.
Do you have our plots on or off?
You can turn them off.
Okay.
Yeah, turn the plots off. You don't need them. So we're going to graph x to the 3rd minus 3x squared minus 10x. We're going to graph our original polynomial that they gave us, and then hit zoom 6, gives you a standard window, and there it is, okay? And you're just going to draw a sketch of this, so I'm going to go over to here, and I'm going to go up to about halfway on this graph, down past here, because it goes pretty far down, and that would be my polynomial. Nick? Invalid dim?
Zoom 6, right?
Zoom 6.
It says syntax.
Syntax. So hit the go to button. Maybe you put in something, and it'll go right to it wherever your syntax error is.
Oh, I put it slower.
Yeah, see? Sometimes you, always hit go to. It'll tell you what you did wrong. Now, we have to find the relative maximum minimum points, okay? So the relative maximum point is this point right here. I need to find out what its point is. Now, points have two things. They have an x and a y coordinate. So the maximum is going to be something comma something. You're going to round to 2 decimal places. Do you remember how to find the maximum on your calculator? Yes. Okay, so you're going to go to second, trace, and we'll find the maximum first. So go to number 4. Your calculator is going to ask you, are you on the left bound? Left bound means are you on the left side of the maximum? Well, there's my maximum. I'm not on the left side. Okay, now I am. Arrow over to the left side. What I did, was I put my cursor somewhere over here. Left side. Do you know your lefts and rights? Yes. Not at all. Left and right. So I hit enter once I'm on the left side. Left bound, enter. Right bound, okay? I got to go over to the right side now and go anywhere over there on the right side of the maximum. Once you're over there, hit enter, and then it's saying, would you like me to guess? I guess so. I mean, I would like more of an answer than a guess, but that's okay. Guess, and there it is. Now your maximum is a point. It's an x coordinate and a y coordinate, so it's negative. Did you get negative 1.08? 6.04. So it only goes up as high as a 6 there, a little over 6. You did not get that? All right, now find the min. I'm gonna go help this person over here. Cost him $1, but I'm gonna help. Did you find the minimum?
Yes!
You did? Did you get, what'd you get?
What I got wrong? Negative 1.70.
Oh,
Did I get wrong?
yeah. Dang it. Yeah, 3.08 and negative 30.04. Okay, it's way over here.
Oh, wait, I did the maximum.
Yes, you did. I know, because you're saying the same number here. All right, let's try it. Here we go. So when you're finding the minimum, you're going to go second trace. Minimum is number 3 now. And then you want to go to the left side. You don't have to change the window. I see that it's on the left right there. I'm going to hit enter. See, I put it like right about here. And then arrow over until you can see it again. There it is. Your test? All of these? Yeah. One of them. And then hit enter one more time. And there it is. 3.08, negative 30.04. You're good at these?
Slight work. Yes, they do place you.
Oh, they do. Cool. Okay, number 6. Number 6, A is easy, B is hard, right? Given the following zeros, write a polynomial in factored form. So here's our polynomial in factored form. Y equals, they gave me 3 zeros. I'm going to have 3 factors that go along with them. Perfect. X plus 2, X plus 3, X minus 5. All right, that is your answer for part A. Yeah, you got that. Now, standard form is a lot of work. So what I'm going to do for standard form, I'm going to do standard form in green. I'm going to first start by foiling out just the first 2. Standard form is all of it's all foiled out. I know, I see your looks on your face, it's bad. All right, we're going to go x times x is x squared. Outside is 3x. Inside is 2x. And my last term is 6. Simplify that. I'm going to go over here now. So I have x squared plus 5x plus 6, and I'm going to multiply all of this by x minus 5 now. So you take the first 2, these 2 right here, I foiled them out, and I got x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now I'm going to do superfoil. Are you ready to superfoil? X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 5 is negative 5x squared. 5x times x is positive 5x squared. 5x times negative 5 is negative 25x. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. So you just take each term in the first and multiply it by each term in the second. And then combine your like terms. X cubed, ooh, the x squares cancel out. That's exciting, isn't it? Minus 19x minus 30. There it is. Now, if you're extra, anybody extra in here? Extra mathematical? Yes. If you're extra, you can do this. Go to your calculator and put in the factors. X plus 2, x plus 3, x minus 5. Okay, go to the next line and put in the answer that you got for standard form. X to the third minus 19x minus 30. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to graph it, and you're going to have one polynomial. You know why? Because they're exactly the same. If you have a colored calculator, which some of you do, I'm a little jealous and envious, and I'm still thinking about buying myself one for Christmas and wrapping it up. It would be kind of cool because you can see both of them. That's really sad, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I had to put my own stuff in my stocking. How lame is that? Superfoil on that one is, see this x squared? You multiply it to x and then times negative 5. And then, yes, and see the 5x? You multiply it to each of them. And then the 6, whoa, we're right to each of them. I don't know how to do normal foil on that.
Okay, because I did it, at least I thought it would be normal,
Uh-huh.
and then I got the same answer.
Oh, okay, so yeah, you probably did it all right. I just did it in a different order than you. It should be fine.
The standard factor.
Hold on, what?
How much is the final work?
Oh, the final is worth 15% of your grade.
Okay.
The factored form, that's the answer.
Yes, the factored form, that's the answer. The blue is the answer to part A.
So for the fact, you just have to order that first one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Factored form you leave as factors, just like this, just the blue. All the green is standard form. Okay, long division. When you learned this, you wanted to cry, but now you're okay with it. X minus 2 divided into x cubed minus 4x squared plus 6x minus 4. It's not too bad. Oh, yeah, you will. Yeah, barely. You'll barely have enough room. Okay, so start with just the first terms, remember? X and x cubed. And you say, what times x gives me x cubed? And that would be x squared. So you're going to take that x squared, you're going to distribute it to both terms over here. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. And then be very careful when you're subtracting here. The first ones will always cancel out. You get negative 4x squared minus negative 2 gives you negative 2x squared. Be careful. Bring down the 6x. Do it all over again. So we're looking at the first term and the first term here. So what times x is negative 2x squared? Negative 2x. Distribute that to both. Negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. And negative 2x times negative 2 is positive 4x. Subtract. 6x minus 4x is 2x. And then bring down the negative 4. Finally, last one. Look at the x and the 2x now. What times x is 2x? That would be 2. 2x minus 4. Ooh, remainder 0. So here's our answer up here. There it is. Yeah?
Are we going to be allowed to use our calculators?
Yes, yes. Yeah, if you need to subtract negative 4 minus negative 2, that's fine. Use your calculator just so you guarantee to get right. Now, don't forget, with synthetic or long division, if you have any missing terms, you have to fill them in with zeros, okay? So that brings us to this one over here. We're going to divide using synthetic division. So put a positive 2 out front and turn everything upside down. We have a 1x to the 4th, 0x cubed. Ooh. So you take the opposite.
Oh.
So we're putting 2 over here. 1x to the 4th, 0x cubed, negative 2x squared, negative 3x, and 5. Now we're going to do synthetic division. What am I missing here? No, you're good? Okay. Bring the 1 down. Multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. And what do we do the columns here? You add. Yes, everything's all flipped upside down. Remember, it's all opposite of long division. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 2 plus 4. You add that, and you get 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. You add 5 and 2 to get 7. Now, don't leave your answer like that. I need a real answer here. This last number is the remainder. The number next to it's the constant, the linear, the quadratic, and the cubic terms. So we get 1x cubed, which is x cubed, plus 2x squared, plus 2x, plus 1, remainder 7. Okay. Yes?
So if that was x plus 2, it would be
negative 2 on the outside.
And would we subtract all of them?
Nope, you'd still add. Okay. Now someone in my, actually I had this, yeah, go ahead.
What if you only have 4 terms? Like if you only have 4 on the bottom? What would that never be?
Yeah, then you would have a cubic instead.
Oh.
Your last term would be a remainder, constant, linear, quadratic, cubic. Someone asked me, why do we get a cubic here, right? Well, we're taking a polynomial that has degree 4, dividing it by a polynomial of degree 1. Do you remember doing this in your Algebra 1 class? If you have 4 x's up top and 1 on the bottom and you reduce, what do you end up with? X cubed. So I divided an x to the 4th by an x. I get an x cubed as my answer. Next page. All right. Halfway done. All right, list all the zeros of the polynomial and their multiplicities. This is the easiest problem on the test. Please don't get it wrong. I will weep tears. Oh, I did?
Number 9.
Dang, there it is. Number 9. Sorry. Okay, we're evaluating p of negative 1. In other words, we're taking negative 1 and we're plugging it in, but we're not going to do it this way. We're going to use synthetic division to evaluate. Okay? So we're going to take negative 1. Don't change it. Don't make it opposite. We are using negative 1, and we're going to do synthetic division with this polynomial. This polynomial is 3x to the 4th, 0x cubed, 0x squared, negative 4, and 1. Okay? Now our answer is not going to be the whole polynomial. Our answer is just the remainder on this problem. I'm evaluating p of negative 1. If I did that on my calculator, I would get 8. It's a number. It's not a polynomial. If I'm evaluating a polynomial and plugging a number into it, I get a number. So bring down the 3. 3 times negative 1, negative 3, negative 3, 3, 3. Am I doing this right? Negative 3, negative 7, 7, 8. Yay! So my answer to p of negative 1 is 8. Yep.
And we're not taking the opposite of the p.
Nope, you do exactly as is. Yep.
Plug it in, that's what you get.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Why don't you just-
Yeah, well, it's a different way to do it. So if you wanted to, you could plug it in and evaluate it and check your answer. Okay, now number 10. Woo. This is the easiest problem on the test. Please get this one right. All right, here we have factors, and from these factors, we have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So from the first factor, my 0 is 0. From the second factor, my 0 is negative 2, and how many times does that happen? Twice. See, it's squared. So it has a multiplicity of 2. And then finally, in my last factor, that 0 is 4. And that's it. If it was cubed, it would have a multiplicity of 3. If it's to the fourth, it has a multiplicity of 4, so on and so forth, okay? Easiest problem. Don't miss that one. Number 11, solve by graphing. Okay, to solve by graphing, this is the way I teach it. You want to bring everybody over to one side. So we have 2x cubed minus x squared minus 18x plus 9 equals 0. So I move the x squared over and I move the 9 over. Subtract x squared, add 9. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to your calculator, plug that in for y1 and that in for y2 and find any intersections. Calc number 5. Okay, so graph it. What's going to happen, I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but I'm going to. What's going to happen is your polynomial is going to look something like this. Your y equals 0 is this. And then you're finding 1, 2, 3 intersections. You ready to do it? Here we go. Okay, go to y equals 2x cubed, is that it? Yeah. 2x to the third minus x squared minus 18x plus 9. And then here we have 0. Hit graph. Woo! Okay, there's 2 graphs there. Yours show up because, you know, the calculator that you have. Mine doesn't. All right, so now we're going to calculate. So second trace, calculate number 5, the intersect. What I like to do is I like to just let the calculator find the first one first, whichever one it wants to. So I just hit enter 3 times, and it found that one in the middle for me. X equals 0.5. Okay? That's this one right here. Then you do it again. Second trace, calculate the intersect. This time I need to tell them which one I want. So I can either go to the left or go to the right. You need to be right around it. It doesn't have to be exactly on it. And then hit enter 3 times again. So then my calculator found x is 3. And then one more, calculate the intersect. This time I arrow all the way to the left. To the left, to the left. Sorry. And then you hit enter 3 times, -3. Okay, you did this last chapter. You did it with quadratics. Now we're doing it with higher degree polynomials. You're finding more zeros. Okay? All right, we got to move. 12a. 12a, this is a cubic, okay? Cubics factor the same way every single time. I had a student in my other class say he uses the acronym SOAP. Yes. SOAP stands for same, opposite, always positive. Cute, huh? How'd you know that? Did he tell you that?
No, my tutor.
Your tutor did?
Oh, yeah.
Cute. Okay. So what does that mean? It means that, oh, I did it opposite here though. I did it wrong. I don't like acronyms. Bless you. All right. So same means the same sign. In this case, I have a plus. Opposite is the opposite sign, and the last term is always positive. Okay? So here's the formula. It's a plus b, a squared minus ab plus b squared. That's the formula every time for these, okay? So when you factor the difference or sum of 2 perfect cubes, you're going to factor it as a binomial, and that's going to give you your one real answer, times a trinomial. That will be a quadratic function that you will have to use the quadratic formula right there. Okay? I hear Mrs. Lee needs some help on the quadratic formula. Did you hear about that? No? All right, here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to use SOAP. Always use SOAP. It's gross. We're going to go same, opposite, always positive. And then you're going to take the cube roots. Okay? So what's the cube root of 27x cubed? 3x. And what's the cube root of 64? 4. And these numbers show up a lot. We've been doing them. There's 8, there's 27, 64, 125. If you need to take the cube root on your calculator, there's a button for that. Then we're going to take the first term here is going to be a squared. This is a. A is 3x. We're going to square 3x and get 9x squared. Your middle term is to take the two of them and multiply them together. 3x times 4, 12x. And then your last term is to take the last term 4 and square it to get 16. All right, that's the factoring part. We have to solve by factoring. Not just factor, but to solve by factoring. So the first one, you're going to take 3x plus 4, set it equal to 0, and solve that. Subtract 4, and then divide by 3. Some of you guys got these ones, huh? Pretty down, yeah. Some of you guys are like, no. All right, so over here now, that's our one real answer. Now the rest of it is going to be found by doing quadratic formula, and they're going to be two complex, two imaginary numbers, okay? So we're going to go negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This number's pretty big in there. Did you notice that? 12 plus or minus the square root of negative 432. Now, am I going to do that to you? Probably not. But there is a perfect square in negative 432, and it would be negative 144. Negative 144 times 3. So we get 12 plus or minus the square root of negative 144 is what? 12i, good. And the square root of 3 stays square root of 3 over 18. And then we have one last thing to do. Divide everybody by 6. I heard someone say it. Divide everybody by 6. 6 goes into 12 twice. Twice, ooh, I forgot the I. And then 6 goes into 18 3 times. And there you go. It's a cubic. It's a polynomial degree 3. It has 3 answers, 1 real and 2 complex. It's a very complex problem. Okay, part B. Do you have any room there for part B? Me neither. Part B is actually easier. And a lot of people missed this one because the x to the 4th was messing with them. And then a lot of people tried to use the quadratic formula. What is a degree for a quadratic? Degree 2. Is this degree 2? No, I can't use the quadratic formula on this problem. But what I can do is I can factor it, just like your basic star problem. Instead of x and x, it's x squared and x squared though. But then you do star method. Negative 28 up top, negative 3 on the bottom. What times what's negative 28 adds up to negative 3? That would be a negative 7 and a positive 4. So this factors as x squared minus 7, x squared plus 4. And then you take each of your factors separately and set them equal to 0. By the way, how many answers are we going to get for this problem? 4. It's funny how you know that, but then you only give me 2 answers. All right, add 7. I just yelled. And then x equals plus or minus rad 7. Who knows the movie? I can't control the volume of my voice. Anybody? No. Okay, x squared plus 4 equals 0. I didn't really say it all that great, but Austin Powers. I can't control the volume of my voice. Yeah, okay. I didn't really say it very well. That's my bad. There you go. There's your 4 answers. Rad 7, negative rad 7, positive 2i, and negative 2i. What a jumbled mess we have here. Okay, last problem. This was the new stuff that we did on Friday. It's not that hard. It just takes forever, and you have to round to so many decimal places. Let's change this, okay? A couple of things. First of all, it says right here to let x equal 6 represent 1996. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All of these, all of these are going to go in for L1. Put that into your calculator. And then L2, this is the price of gold. Ooh. gold starts out pretty high and then it starts to drop, but then it goes back up. So there's actually kind of two answers to this, because what's going to happen is the price of gold starts out high, starts to drop, looks kind of linear, but then it goes back up, but it could go back down again. So there's actually, people can kind of yell at each other about this. Okay, so let's put those in to our calculator. So you go to Stat, Edit, use 6 through 14. Do this with me. Don't be lazy. I wonder why gold dropped so much in 1999 and 2000. Houses were really cheap then too. I bought my house in 2000 for a lot less than what it's worth now.
2008 did it all.
Yes, that was the big old crash too.
You about Bitcoin?
I just kind of, I just kind of wrote it out. I just like, I'll just wait. There we go. Okay. Now, you have your stuff, input it in, you're good. It asks for a linear regression. Let's round to 2 decimal places. I don't feel like going to 3. So stat calc number 4, lin reg. Oh, this one's easy. Y equals 3.45x plus 291.5. R squared, 0.03. What if you got a 3% on the test tomorrow? Would you be happy with that? I would hope none of you would be happy with that. Now let's do a quad regression. Stat calc number 5, quad reg. Let's round to just 2 decimal places. If you already did it and you went to 3, good for you. All right, y equals 8.03x squared minus 157.13x plus 1040.89. And r squared is 0.983477. I went a long ways on r squared because you'll see why. And finally, a cubic regression. Stat calc number 6. Whoa. Y equals negative 0.06x cubed plus 9.87x squared minus 174.84x plus 1095.09. Okay? And then r squared is 0.983735. So, you know, I would accept quadratic. If you want to just say quadratic on this one, I would be okay with that because we don't know if it's going to drop back down again. But I would, if I were going to answer this, I would probably say cubic. I wonder what it actually is, like what gold has done. I don't know. The question was, how do we know that it's the best fit? You compare the r squares, and the closest that r squared is to 1, the better your fit is. So these pretty much tie each other. You had to go out to the 4th decimal place to figure out. So, you know, I would say either one's fine.
Okay.
Cubic or quadratic. Yeah. So you want to get a 98% on your test? Bobby shakes his head. No, I don't. Austin's all for the 98 or 89. Totally inverted. That would be fine too.